Got it.
Happening.
Happy hippie souls unite on this snowy spring day.
It's spring break and it's like, so there's so much snow. Although when I look at my window right now, I don't know if it's clouds or like a very pale sky. I don't know.
Mine's snow at my house, just straight snow.
Anyone listening who doesn't know, Jenny and I don't live far away. It's not like we live in different.
But I mean, we live in different counties, but just one county away from each other.
Yeah.
So, but I am on the south end of my county, and I think you're on the north end of your county.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anywhooser. Okay, so the question that is providing today's topic is brought to you by
Jenny.
The orphan archetype, the abandoned child archetype. So I pulled this in my hero spread as the boon. This is the reward. I got this as the reward. And I've had this as a reward before. And every time I'm dumbfounded. I'm like, how is this a reward? To feel like an abandoned child, to feel orphaned. But there's two really beautiful questions at the end of this. And this is the card deck I'm using. That what are you starving for? Or, so answer one of these two questions. What is the deepest gift you could imagine giving to others? What has been rejected is quite possibly what is most needed, dear one.
Oh my God. Okay, so before we go further, I just want you guys to know that Jenny and I did not talk about this at all. I have no idea what card she pulled. She also didn't know that I just did a sharecast talking about what illuminates you.
Illumination.
What is that thing that, like, what's your goal? What's like, what do you value so much? And I feel like to me that made so much sense. Like when we're orphan and even conversations that you and I have had this week outside of any recordings or whatever, just as people, like there's this, like, I mean, we make a sadness about being orphaned. And obviously I'm not saying that orphan childs are not sad. So don't come for me. But there's also a sense of freedom there of like, you're not tied to anything. And I think as we get older and we start to see the good and the bad in something, is like this orphaned inner child that is just like being parented by the universe. Mm-hmm. In the card that I had pulled earlier today, there's a part that says, where's the universe part of this? Oh, it's the affirmation. I am but a newborn, cradled in the arms of the universe, a perfect being who must learn how to walk, how to hurt, how to love without reservations. In the brilliance of this moment, I am whole, I am healed, and the peace shines light wherever I go. How fun is that? Like, I didn't know. I mean, I don't want to take over my card, but I just thought that was funny that you pulled that card. And I was just like, oh, I too pulled a card this morning and get this beautiful peace version of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So this card I pulled on Sunday. So I've been sitting with this spread for now. This is the third day I've been sitting with this spread and just contemplating different pieces of it. And the piece that really came out for me was like this like, we all are born into a culture, a system, whether it's a belief system, a religion, a culture, a group, right? Like, and they all of these things, systems have rules that keep that functioning so there's not chaos. And I left my religion that I was raised in. And because I like, no longer did I feel like my truth aligned with their rules. And so in order to stay in that religion, I either had to give up and sacrifice my own personal truth to play by their rules, or leave and risk, like literal death like this, like, you know, in the ancient times, we were tribal beings, and tribe meant safety, right? You were safe in a tribe because you were surrounded by all of these people, and there was help with the food, like hunting and gathering, and there was protection. And if you were ostracized from that tribe, that meant death,
Yeah.
imminent.
I
And
feel like that's such an interesting, like, what a, like a lean into the shadow aspect of that. Like, yeah, it did mean that.
total death. So this, like, so when I've drawn this orphan card as the boon, this is the reward that I receive after going through my hero's journey or heroine's journey. And it's like, okay, wait, I think I get it. But I also am like so completely baffled by it, because it's really just like this: I'm at home with myself. Wherever I go, I can be at home with myself and my truth. And that's okay, because I didn't come here to fit in. I didn't come here to be like everyone else. I came here to be an outsider, because that's how I shake shit up and show people that it can be done differently, and it's okay. There is no right or wrong. And if this box serves you, like the religion, it served me for a period of time. And then there was a time it didn't. And it created this discord in me that felt, I was having physical symptoms, and I had a mental and emotional problem. I was having depression and anxiety, and I just, it was like, I could no longer align with these beautiful beliefs. It's beautiful, it really is. But something within me shifted, and the truth was no longer there. And so now I had to leave and become an orphan. I don't know. I'm still obviously working through this.
I think it's really interesting. Like, the only thing that keeps like screaming in my mind is this, like, yeah, that's a shadow. Like, that's a shadow of this card. Like, this one story you have, this one thing, and it's not just you, just obviously you're telling a story. When we see these opportunities where we are orphaned from a belief system that we all have belief systems, whether we were in a religion, whether we were in the military, whether we were in a school that had really strong values, all of us live in a space where values were given to us. Whether they were like concretely and you knew that was happening or didn't, it's happening. It's happening to you. There are things that are values outside of you that are given to you. And when you get into a space of being orphaned from that system, I think there is a lot of grief, right? This is the death of the connection and how it used to be. But I also think the thing that's screaming in my mind is, but now you're an orphan of the universe, and now you are cradled by the universe. And I feel these hands of the universe just coming down and saying, it's okay, you really do belong everywhere, because if you belonged in this place at one time, you always belong there. Like, right, your parents who birthed you are always the parents who birthed you. The people who have loved you in your life always love you, because that there is no time. So that love you once had for someone is always there. It's just whether you're choosing to feel it or not feel it. And I just think that's such an incredible way of saying, all right, I'm now ready to take the shadow aspect of this feeling of being orphaned, but I'm seeing this brilliant illumination inside of me that's saying, okay, but now I am this creature of the universe. And I think that's what it truly means to be omnist.
Mm.
Like, is to just say, all of these things are the creation of the universe. All of these rule systems are here to help people feel like orphans of the universe, children of the universe. And what a beautiful gift is that, to just say, I'm not tied to one of these anymore. And I know that's what you think of yourself as. I'm not tied to one of these anymore. I'm tied to all of them. And there's no shadow part of me, because I'm not left in anything. And I'm not this, it's not my job to disrupt the flow of any of these things. It's my job to just be this being of the universe who loves all the things. And I think that's really interesting, this idea that we're here to disrupt anything.
Mm.
and I was listening to this podcast, which, oh my gosh, I was telling you about it yesterday, but I hadn't listened to the whole podcast. I have a habit of doing this. Like I'll get a feeling and I'll get like 30 minutes into a podcast and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is going to be good. And then I'm sharing it to everyone, but I haven't really listened to the whole podcast yet. Like, cause it takes me a couple of days because I listen to like 2-hour podcasts. I love this. And this, oh my gosh, and you have got to listen to this podcast. You are going to lose your mind. And she's just telling these stories about how she had, like, how she gets to all these places. And she's like, I just have dreams and then I need to find this thing. And I'm not going to ruin the story for you, but it's just like, she really embodied this feeling of being this child of the universe. And this, like, I am here to just experience. I'm not here to spend all my time trying to learn and trying to understand everything. I'm here to just experience this. And I'm here to learn what the people around me are here to teach me, and how much simpler that could feel versus like always hunting for a teacher. What are the people, like, the universe placed you in this spot, in this moment for this reason? Why are you not learning from what's right here? And I think that's why we can get into a space. I mean, today, when we were marketing before I got on here, I was like, okay, universe, I would love to have my truck back. But also, as I was saying that, I'm like, so much gratitude though, because it's really made me, when I didn't have our car, because right now we just have one car, I've been forced to sit in my house and sit my ass down and do nothing. And I've kind of been like a grumpy child about it, but now I'm like, oh, but how beautiful is it that I've just like had to sit down because I've been so busy and I've been worrying so much about other people that I haven't really cared for myself. And then today I'm like, you know what? I need a mental health day. I'm taking the day off and I'm not going to do anything that I'm not divinely inspired to do. And here we are, recording a podcast on Tuesday instead of Wednesday.
Well, yeah. And I mean, my internet's down. We're in a winter storm warning for the next 24 hours. We have been since Sunday. And I'm like, finally, like after this, I went through this massive ego death. Still, I'm integrating. I'm just trying to integrate back in. And it's like, I'm finally feeling the fire and energy to go and create. And it's like, internet universe is still saying, nope, you're still not ready yet. You're still not ready yet. You can't really, don't work. Don't work. There's no internet. You can't get on. You like, so it's, and like, I mean, 2 weeks ago, Jasmine can attest to this. We were doing our spring ceremony for the spring equinox. And it was like in the midst, I was literally in the middle of my like,
I would say like the big bang part of an ego death. Like
it was the big bang of an ego death. And I thought I've been preparing for this ceremony for weeks. And I was like, I love ceremony. It's going to re-anchor me to Jasmine and Carrie, my partners. It's going to re-anchor me to the studio and my purpose and why I love doing this thing. It's going to remind me like why I'm going through this shit. And the universe was like, you shall not pass. And like, literally we left an hour and a half early, and there was a semi had pinned a woman against the meridian, and it was like stopped. Freeway was stopped. You shall not pass. And I felt like the universe was like, bend over. What? And I was like, I know conceptually, I'm like, I know this is happening for me. Still.
but still it's shitty. It's shitty. And I think sometimes when we say that to people like, oh, things are happening for me, it's like people think, oh, look at you little hippies who just like think everything is wonderful. No, I'm just like trying to fucking survive in this shitstorm that is life. And I'm trying to just see, okay, what I'm in this situation anyways, whether I learn a lesson from it or I don't, I'm here. What could I possibly learn from this situation? What could I possibly gather from, again, what's happening literally right around me in this moment? And then maybe use it in the future for better. Like, why is that such a bad thing? But people, it does get like such a stigma when you say you're like this honest, like this like optimistic person who just thinks that good things happen for you. Oh my God, that's wild. Anyway, that's like a side note, but
I love it because we are happy little hippies, and we do believe that spiritual shit doesn't have to be serious. I mean, that's like the title and tagline of this whole podcast. But shit still happens, and instead, and I was in it, and I was giving myself permission to be pissed, and also I was just laughing too. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Mhm. Yeah.
This total ego death, and I don't remember why we started talking about this Big Bang moment. There's this Big Bang moment that we started talking about.
I don't know. Maybe we should go back to the question from the beginning. What was one of the questions? What was the questions on the card?
So, like, one of two things, like what are you starving for? Like, what attention are you really starving for? What are you really needing? And then the other, what is it that like you could, like, if you could give anything to the world, what would it be? Right. And it's like, I feel like this is it for me. Like, this is what I feel like I can give to the world. Like, I found freedom from this pain and suffering, the struggle that I was in, and I removed myself from it to live in my truth. And now I even see the beauty in this instead of the constriction. I see the beauty in it. I see the beauty in all of it, because this ego death was just this huge, like, it is all perfect. The universe accepts all. Like, you, when you said, like, you're now an orphan of the universe, it was like, oh, because the universe accepts all, rejects none. It
Yeah,
doesn't,
you're in it.
yeah, I'll have a little bit of this and none of that. Like, it accepts everything. And I just did on Sunday, I did the Isis initiation and the Sophia code. And in there, she talks about embracing the beautiful, chaotic confusion that is being human, and the beautiful, clear, essence, divine light that is your spirit, as
Mhm.
both of you. You are both. And, like, love them all. Love it all. That's what
Yeah.
I was.
I Isis is so powerful, and whether you read the Sophia Code or whether you just learn about Isis and like what she means to the world, her initiation is just incredible. Like the words, um, mine is so okay. If you asked me that question, what was the first, how do you word the first question?
The first question, what are you truly seeking? Let me.
Okay, that's good. That's good enough.
Yeah.
I just wanted to word it right. So for me, connection. Like I want to feel everything. I want to be able to observe everything. I want to, and like the last 2 years have been really huge for me. Last year was all about feeling. Like I just want to feel it. I just want to feel it all, right? Like the Faya song, feel it all. Like I have no skin, like I'm just out here with no defenses and I just want to feel it all. Like that was really like my anthem for last year. And now I'm in a space of like, I just want to observe it. Like I want to be able to feel it and like be able to just observe what's the pattern here, what's happening. And for me, all of this is leading to this idea of how can we feel connected to our bodies and how can we observe our place in this universe. Our place is these orphan child of the universe who are just out here kind of making a mess of stuff, like all of us, as these like newborns trying to figure out like how to even hurt people and how to feel hurt and how to feel love and like how to just fucking walk and breathe in a way that is like owning who we are, but also like softening to what we aren't and really just allowing it to come and go. And I think this sense of, I think as a Cancer part of me who kind of comes into this shell of loneliness of like, oh, I'm by myself. Oh, here, no one is around me. And it's kind of as woe as me sometimes. And then I stop to look at how irrational that is and how untrue it is that there's not a person on this earth who means nothing to no one. There isn't. Even the most like insane things that have happened to people, right? Even the people who have had just the most horrific situations, they have meant something to someone, always. They have never been alone. There's always been someone there. maybe not there in that moment, but they are at some point in their life. And when I was in kind of this, I don't know that I would call it the big bang of this realization for me, because it wasn't so intense. But when I was in deep meditation once about this, I was literally thinking, oh my God, death is this horrible thing. Like I was going through this death spiral, and I just had a lot of stuff going on with my animals, which as you listen to this podcast, you'll start to learn how important they are to me. But I mean, one of my dogs did pass away shortly after this. And this was not that long ago. Like, we're not even talking like a month ago that this all kind of happened. And I'm in meditation and I'm literally sitting here like, oh my God, death is horrible and no one is seen after. And like, I'm just really spiraling to this sense of loneliness. And then I'm watching on TV while this is happening in my mind, I'm watching these Egyptian mummy shows where they're like, oh, and this woman is like, and I think this was the bones of a child. And she was like, I feel like she felt this and that. And I'm just like, see, like, this is like, there's all these people who spend millions of dollars, right, to understand the connection between, I mean, I think every universe ever is really trying to teach you how to connect with the word. And that's so different than we have before done that. But yeah, I don't know. The whole universe, everything is about connection. And so I feel like the one thing I struggle with and I long for is connection. But the other thing that I really see is like beautiful in the world, and like the message that I want to give to the universe is that everything is connected and you're never alone. And this is coming from an only child. Like, I'm an only child, right? Like, I'm an only child. I don't have biological children. So I'm kind of the end of my bloodline. And that's kind of could be seen as this very long, a lot of only children really struggle with that, like this lonely sensation that they have
Mm.
when their parents pass, because that's their blood. And so anyway, it's very interesting. So that's my answer.
That's that's beautiful. It's like I could talk on this and I could talk on that and I could talk on this. But the quote that keeps the words that keep, I don't even know if it's a quote. I don't even know where it came from, but the thing that keeps playing in my head is the thing that you are seeking is the seeker.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a thing? The thing you are seeking is the seeker.
It wasn't exactly how I was thinking about it, but it's like think about like your greatest pain is your greatest message, kind of like the thing that you're wanting is the thing that you want to give. Like, I don't know, but it's all the same. I was thinking those similar words just in a little different way. I don't know if that's a quote, but it should be if it's not.
Well, it is now. Write that shit down. The thing you're seeking is the seeker. And it like, okay, so for me, the thing that I feel like I've always been seeking, it's interesting you mentioned cancer and feeling alone. And for me, as an Aquarius, feeling like I don't fit in, right? We hate fucking boxes, but also I kind of wish I could fit into those boxes with everybody because everybody looks like they're having a good time. Right? Like, but I don't feel understood everywhere I go because I'm an alien. But I'm a universe of the child. I'm the universe of a child. Does that one work?
I think so.
That works too. That was a little Freudian slip that I think does actually have a lot of wisdom in it. I'm the orphan of the universe. I'm the universe of a child.
Oh, well, look at that shit.
So like for me, I've been seeking validation, and validation's the seeker, right? Because I just like I want to be validated that I exist, that like I'm not like some ethereal, like I swear I've been places and I will look people in the eye and they're looking at me and it's like they look right past like through me. It's like, but am I here? Or I'll say something and it just like, and then 2 minutes later, somebody else will say the same thing and they'll be like, oh my God, that's like the smartest thing I've ever heard. And I'm like, well, hello? Can you hear me? Is this thing on? Like, and it's the most interesting thing, right? That like starting to sink in. I've been listening to love songs and thinking about singing them to myself. Like me seeking and searching and validating and loving myself instead of like, oh, I wish someone would sing this to me or, dedicate or make a mixtape. The Miley Cyrus, I can buy myself flowers. I can hold my own hand. But I started singing love songs to myself. Like, I gotta validate myself.
Well, and think about it, when you really identify as a star seed and when you identify as these beings, which is such a thing for you, particularly, it's uncomfy to be in this body. Like, you don't really know how to function here because you're heavier than you used to be. Your energy has felt different than it has ever been before, and it was easier for you. I mean, a lot of people who really identify as star seeds talk a lot about those exact feelings. And so it's very interesting. I love to see you going on this path of saying, you know what, I'm gonna love me. I'm gonna do the things I want other people to do for me because I can do them for me because I have a body. Like, I have a body. Like, you, I don't know if you know this, and I really feel like I talk about orgasms way more than I should, but you can also do that for you. Like, you can give yourself what I think most people would consider the ultimate joy. You can do that for yourself in this world. In this world, you can do all kinds of stuff for yourself. And I think that's really beautiful, powerful. And I, for one, love Miley Cyrus's song. And I think it's really sad that people are trying to turn it into not what she meant. Like, I don't think she meant we don't need men. I think she just meant I'm going to love me right now. And the people who are turning that whole idea of I can love myself into this, I don't need a man, that is absolutely false. Just stop. Don't make it more than it is. No one's saying that. We're just saying I too can fill my cup. I don't need to put all that pressure on another person. I'm going to find some of that within me. And I can buy myself flowers and I can write my name in the sand. Also, I'm happy to receive it from my partner too. But when they are taking care of themselves, I'm going to take care of me. And I'm not going to judge them.
Or me.
Yes, or me for wanting that while they can't give. So it's just very interesting.
I didn't know there was all that drama around that.
Well, I don't know. I really don't know how much of it is, but I try not to look at comments, but sometimes you get sucked into the comments on Facebook. And I saw a bunch of those comments and I'm like, oh my God, I cannot even stop. Leave Miley alone. She's just trying to make a beautiful anthem for people getting divorced. Just leave it alone. Self-love. I don't even think it's about people getting divorced. I think it's just saying you can love you for who you are. If no one else does, you can still love you, and you're the universe. You are the child of the universe and the universe of the child inside you.
Well, I think it's so beautiful because right, as within, so without, as without, so within, and how everything is literally a mirror. So this song is literally a mirror. For me, it was a mirror to show me I can love myself. That was the mirror that I needed at the time. People that are maybe a little wounded and feeling a little rejected or abandoned, it may feel like a rejection. Just maybe look at that.
All right. Sending love to those people. But come on, love yourself. Fine, be a better person and see the good. I hear you. But a little part of me wants to just be let it go. Not everything is horrible. Come on. Can we just have something and be, but I'm right. Everything is a mirror. And what are they mirroring for me?
Ooh. Oh, that's taking it to the next level. Good job.
Just see the good. I'm just going to sip my drink and be quiet now. I do, okay, to take it to a less serious note, to end the podcast, because I know you, Jenny, I think you have to go somewhere. But the last thing I want to say, technical words of wisdom. So I got a new cell phone last week for the first time in a billion years. I've been really no thanks to this new phone, right? And I'm using it right now. So I love you. Thank you so much. But I have a weird attachment to things, and I still have my old phone, and I'm okay, I gotta send it back. But I'm so grateful for it. But on my phone, I don't know how I figured this out, and I don't know if I can help you figure it out, but some phones in the universe, aka the Galaxy 23s, in your clock setting on your phone, you can set sleep hours for your phone. I'm sure there's an iPhone version of this. I just don't have iPhone and I can't figure that out. And it literally, so mine goes at 9 o'clock. My phone goes black and white. Everything on my phone goes black and white. Does this happen on iPhones? Can this happen?
Yeah, you can turn it on. There's focus mode, sleep mode. They have a couple different modes you can turn on where different settings and apps are allowed to come through or not based on how you set up the filters.
Yeah, it turns off everything. No
Mhm.
notifications happen at all. And my phone turns black and white on every app. My whole phone, everything turns black and white. And I am like, this is the greatest thing I didn't know existed. And it turns everything off. So from 9 o'clock till 6:30 in the morning, nothing comes through. My phone is on sleep mode, and it even turns my phone to black and white. It's really helped me not scroll as long. And if I do, I'm just like, oh, I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'm enjoying it. So there's my tech wisdom. If you have a phone like that and you too want to have a black and white phone after 9 o'clock to make yourself go to bed, there you go. Google that shit.
Boundaries, setting up beautiful boundaries.
Yes. We need that
All
with
right,
social media.
our little happy hippies. Thanks for hanging with us today.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear your on these things. Like as always, we're just sharing what we're currently going through. And we would love to, and where our current perspective lies, we're always open to expanding it or seeing your view and going, good for you. I'm glad that works for you. I tried that, didn't work for me. And that's okay. We can love and respect each other. So we would love to engage community, communication, perspective, and just that's what like I believe like this is one of my things that I'm like if I could really give the world is just this beautiful like acceptance. Like I'm accepted as I am and I can accept you as you are and there's no threat even though we're different. There's no threat, there's no worry, there's no fear, scarcity, just love, acceptance. Namaste.
I hope you guys all find peace. Find peace somewhere in your life today. Yeah. Okay. Love you
Bye.
all.
Love you.